Hey guys, it's Damien.
And I'm Kenady, and thank you so much for joining us. Now, last video we talked about leadership in the role of a husband.
Yes, we did. Killed that thing.
And so today we're not going to leave out the ladies. We're talking about submission and the role of a wife in marriage. And so we both, again, wrote a chapter in this book, #Completely Married, that's available on Amazon. The description will be in the bio. But we did our own personal chapter. I talked about submission and helper, and you talked about leadership. And so, yeah, get this, got this.
So men, do not check out now. This is still valuable information. If you're a man looking for a wife, you need to understand this. And if you're a husband, this is valuable to your leadership.
So as we know, submission is one of those taboo topics. Like when women hear it's like,
they don't like it.
Probably because we haven't had a good understanding or seen a good example. So we want to give you insight on this and share the secret to submission. So make sure y'all comment, share, and pass this along, this valuable information.
So what is submission? Submission is submitting oneself under another. It's a military term, like I'm putting myself under someone's rank. It's not talking about your value or your valueless. No, it's talking about God's order. God has ordained the man to be the head of the home. So this is a loving display of God's authority, his divine authority over the man. I personally, as the man, want to put myself, involuntarily put myself under Jesus Christ.
That's so good. And as women, we are to voluntarily put ourselves under our husband. And it's not, oh, submit, woman, you're supposed to submit. No, we're supposed to voluntarily do this because, again, this is God's ordained order. This is holy. This is holiness. And so I'm not going to sit here and act like I am a straight A student for the submission thing.
She ain't.
No, because it's a daily, moment by moment submission. It's a lifestyle. It's a dying of the flesh. Your flesh does not want to submit. That's why it's so important to die. He has to die to himself as he's a leader and sacrificing for his family. I have to die to my flesh and be submission. And so if you ain't ready to die, you ain't ready to be married. Because it is hard. This is hard. But we really believe these two, if we get these two concepts, it will be easier as we are led by the Spirit and not by our flesh.
So what's the secret to submission? Here's the secret to submission. The secret to submission is meekness plus quietness. Meekness plus quietness.
Don't tune out. We're going to explain it. It's not what you think.
So 1 Peter 3:4 says, you should clothe yourselves instead with the beauty that comes from within, the unfading beauty of a gentle, which means meek, and quiet spirit, which is so precious to God.
So what is meekness or gentleness? It is strength under control. Meekness does not mean weakness. It does not mean I can't do anything or I'm not capable of doing anything. It says no, I am capable of doing it, but I choose not to. It's mean I'm keeping my seat. I'm not trying to take my husband's position, usurp his position that God has given him. No, I am content with the place that God has put me in because it's not invaluable. I'm not operating in pride, but humility. Pride saying I can do that better. I'm capable of leading. I can lead this family. Anything a man can do, I can do better. No, that's not what this means. Again, this is God's order because it's a replication of Christ and the church. We're representing the church in this union. We're submitting ourselves unto our husband. And so if we're not submitted unto them, if we're operating in pride, we're operating in a Jezebel spirit. And a lot of us know, don't nobody want to be operating in a Jezebel spirit. That brings curses and not the blessing of God in our marriage. So we have to walk in humility and meekness.
So what does this mean? This means, ladies, create a space for your man to lead. You encourage him and help him in a spirit of respect. This is not a competition. You are on the same team. God has given you skills, ladies, as an asset to a man. But please do not use your skills as a detriment or a weapon to your husband.
So we gotta respect, because respect is a big thing for men.
RESPECT.
Find out what means to your husband. And we can't expect for our husbands to be perfect leaders and get it right all the time. Every decision that they ultimately make for the family is not going to be the right decision all the time. It's a chance to learn each other and working through teamwork and confiding in each other's opinions and trusting each other. And so if he makes a mistake, that gives him an opportunity to understand, man, let me lean in more into my wife's skill set. And if he does make the right decision that was opposite of yours, it's like, man, let me trust in him more. We're not there to throw it in each other's face. Again, this is not a competition, but a partnership. What we like to say is whenever something goes wrong or if we make the wrong decision, ultimately as a family, we say, but did you die? But did you die? Like, yes, bad decisions aren't always the best, but it can be a lesson. If you're alive today to be like, man, that was a bad decision, we can move on with it. We did not die. And so we have to trust and leave room for mistakes. And it's learning each other and learning to work as a team.
So the first secret to submission was meekness, and the second one is quietness. Now, quietness does not mean voiceless. My wife still has a voice in our relationship, but quietness means being still, being undisturbed, peaceable, and at peace within. You see, you have to operate as a woman in a spirit of peace and not anxiousness or worry.
We can submit because we have peace, a peace of spirit, that we can trust in our husband's ability to hear God, and that he cares for the family and he has reverence for God. And he's not going to mess this leadership thing up. He cares about your heart, your well-being, because you're his wife and God's daughter.
So ultimately, you're not really trusting in your husband, you're trusting in the God in your husband. So be at peace in the God in your husband. Be still and know that God is God. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." So pray more and worry less, and pray for your husbands. Pray that he is the man that he is called to be in the home.
And so some of us women have to overcome anxiety and past hurts from childhood, from before marriage, or whatever it may be, that those anxious memories where we feel like we have to do it ourselves. You know, we can't trust in anybody. I'm independent. If it has to be, it's up to me. But we have to rest. We have to rest that you don't have to do it by yourself anymore. That's the beauty of this order. It's meant for a covering. Our husbands are covering, and God covers both of us. And so, sis, you're covered. You're covered when you submit. I've noticed the times where I've had an issue with submitting unto Damien in marriage is due to either I'm in pride for whatever reason, a bitterness with him, or I'm not at peace. There's uneasiness in me. There's anxiousness. There's worry that's within me, and I have to take that to God. And so we have to take those issues, those struggles, those past thoughts, and the cycles that we create, and the thoughts we create, and take it to God and say, God, give me a spirit of peace. So I'm not operating in rebellion against my husband, but help me to trust you and help me to trust the order that you've created. And I'm not going to worry. I don't have to keep it on my shoulders anymore because I'm covered. I'm covered by my husband.
So we want to talk to the person who's not married yet. So if you're in a relationship with a man and you don't see yourself submitting to him because you can't trust him, you can't trust his character, you can't trust his decision making, you can't trust his work ethic or his relationship with God, I want to give you a prophetic message. I want you to get close. I want you to get close. Do not marry him. Do not marry him. You get to choose your head. You get to choose the head of your home. So don't marry him.
Don't marry a bobblehead. You can choose your head. Don't be out here. We can choose our head.
I don't know where that came from. So that's why it's important to date a guy who's submitted to God. And you need to be submitted to God so you can understand what submission looks like. Why would you date somebody who's not submitted to God? It doesn't make any sense. Submission should not look new to you. We're submitted to our parents. We're submitted to the law. We're submitted to our bosses and even teachers. We must learn how to submit to God first and then find a person who's submitted to God as well.
Don't marry bobblehead.
Don't.
Choose your head. Don't marry bobblehead. This is good stuff. Y'all gonna be sharing this. Sharing this stuff. Now, I want to talk to the wife that might be watching this and say, you know, I'm already married and my husband, he's not submitted to God. Maybe he fell away, or maybe you married him when he wasn't a Christian, or maybe you weren't even a Christian before you got married. Whatever the case may be, there's no need of turning back. Actually, this formula that we get comes from the wife that is saved first before a husband. From 1 Peter 3:1-2, it says, in the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly lives will speak to them without any words. They will be won over by observing your pure and reverent lives. You see, back during these times, women were the ones that were converting faster than men because they had less to lose. Men who converted to a minority religion had a lot more to lose in society's eyes. So be of good courage. The formula that we've given you today works here as well. You don't have to try and nag and try and get them, come to church, come. No, be submitted unto your husbands. Call out the leader within him, giving him space and not nagging him, but praying for him. Pray that he will be the man that God created him to be. God cares about him more than you do. I know that's surprising. He cares about your husband, and so you can win him over with the submission and just the prayers. Our actions and our prayers do much work than our words.
So that concludes our video on submission. If you haven't checked out our video on leadership last week, please do so. And if you haven't purchased our book, #Completely Married, where we both talk about submission in leadership from a different perspective, that link will be in the bio and the description below. Again, my name is Damien Nash.
And I'm Kenady Nash.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Don't choose a bubblehead.
Don't you know about it?